of months ago, I made a video on the 6 reasons why I quit social media 5 years ago. And I got a lot of comments from you guys saying that this resonated with you, but some of you still had fears. So today I wanted to talk specifically to those of you who have quit social media or who intend to quit, but you're thinking, okay, but now what? But make sure you stick to the end because that's where I'll be talking about the biggest fear that I saw mentioned throughout the comments. So let's just get down to business. The first question is, how will I promote my business or brand? I love this question because I can actually speak from experience here. A lot of people worry that if they have a business or they're starting to develop a brand, they have to have social media in order to promote it. It's like it's the only way in today's high-tech market, right? Maybe not the only way. There have been many companies who have spent millions of dollars advertising and promoting their products, and in the end, they have still failed. But even bigger than that, I've learned through books like Start With Why by Simon Sinek or Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell that people are much more likely to buy an item or a service from you if they have a connection with you or what your company stands for. Simon specifically says that people don't buy what you buy, they buy why you're selling it. As in, it's not only about the actual product. Think about it this way, and this is a personal experience for me. You're choosing between 2 dentists. They both have the same quality work. One of them does the job, they're in, they're out, nothing special. The second dentist, you can tell that their motto is to treat you like family because when you go in there, they recognize you by name, they refer to you by name, and that dentist also remembers little details like 6 months ago, your dog had a broken leg, and they ask you about it the next time you go. Who are you much more likely to go to? If you choose the second dentist, it's not because of the service or the product, because it's the same. You end up with the same kind of teeth cleaning. You're choosing the why they do it, because they treat you like family. My husband and I have never used social media to promote our business, and we have had several millionaire clients just through word of mouth alone. And I know that we're not the only ones. Ginza George has never had social media to leverage her hospitality business, and it's worked out well for her. Dr. Cal Newport has never had social media in his life, and he's a successful computer scientist, speaker, and author. I do not disagree that social media can help leverage the advertising of your business, but if avoiding social media is something that you want to do, know that you don't have to have it in order to promote your business. The first thing that I would recommend to you if having a business without social media is something that you want to do is know that your reputation is huge. So make sure to have a clearly defined why for what you're doing so that your clients or your customers can know that through your service. But aside from all of that, know that there are other means that you can use to get the word out, such as attending networking events or conferences, using email lists, or producing content online such as courses or YouTube videos. And if you yourself have a business but don't have social media, share your ideas in the comments. I assure you that there are other people that are asking the same question. The next question is, how will I buy or sell my stuff? I am almost going on 6 years now without social media, so I was totally oblivious to the fact that you can sell on websites like Facebook. I had no idea. But when I moved, I actually sold and donated a lot of items through several different things that I did. The first, and probably the simplest, word of mouth. My job has a flyer where you can post things that you're selling, and I know that certain newspapers have this availability as well. But I also posted pictures in the break room of certain things that I was selling. When it came to selling to people that I knew, I had to be mindful of who I thought could benefit from that particular item. For example, I had a traction device that did not work for me or my husband. It pulled on his hernia, and I hated the feeling of blood going up to my head. So I did have a friend that had back problems. She had mentioned that to me before. So when I talked to her about this device, she was so happy to have the deal. There are numerous ways that you can sell your items. You can do yard sales. You can do consignment sales as well, which is something that I've done before, like clothing. If you intend to donate it or get rid of it anyway, go to consignment shops and they will actually buy your clothes that are gently used. Or you can use apps like LetGo, which is something that I've personally used. I mean, you don't need Facebook for this. The next question is, how will I stay in touch with people? I actually talk about this a little bit in my video on why I quit social media, so I'm not gonna go too much into detail to drag this video on, but the main point that I want to make is to focus on making connections with the people in your life. For example, if your friend Nancy tells you that she has a job interview in 2 weeks, schedule it in your calendar to remember to call her either beforehand to give her encouragement or afterwards to see how it went. Be intentional and remember to do this. I actually schedule birthdays on my phone to remember to call people. And especially keep in touch with friends or family that are going through rough times. Maybe others haven't done this for you. Maybe when you had a surgery or you were sick, everybody forgot all about you. Okay, so you know how it feels. Don't be that person too. Be the friend that cares and is there when it matters most. When you focus on making deeper connections and improving the relationships that you value, you won't feel that need to have hundreds of superficial friendships and comments and likes. The next question. What if I lose my friends? I'm gonna give you the cold hard truth. Be prepared that you will likely lose some friends. But I'll give you a secret. These are just friends that you thought you had. That's okay, it's a good thing. About 10 years ago, my husband had a great job where he was making lots of money, but he spent it all on hosting parties with free alcohol, and if his buddies needed cash for some reason, he would give it to them, not ever really expecting it back. As you can imagine, he had lots of friends during this time. But when he was rear-ended, lost his job because he wasn't able to work anymore, ended up in a wheelchair, and doctors told him that he was never going to walk again because of his back injury. Only 4 friends ever visited him or called him up to see how he was doing. And those friends that he had helped out when they needed money, guess where they were when he had lost his job and he had thousands to pay in medical bills? Who knows? They never showed up. So what do I mean by all of this? Is the quantity of friends does not matter nearly as much as the quality of your friendships. When this happened to him, he didn't really lose friends because they weren't friends to begin with. The weeds just remove themselves. You don't need weeds in your life. You want people in your life that actually care about you, people that motivate you to be better, or people that you'd like to learn something from or that you'd like to be more like. People that inspire you to be a better version of yourself. Keep in touch with these people because the rest, they're just weeds. The next question is, how will I meet new people? Okay, first of all, there's more than one way to catch a rabbit. But if you want to meet new people, the first thing that you have to do is to actually be open to it. I mean, when you go to the grocery store, don't just mindlessly stare at your phone or the magazines at checkout. Actually smile and talk to the person behind you. But also, make it a point to attend events where the people that you would like to meet would likely be at. If you want to make friends that are focused on the same business goals as you might find them at a conference or a networking event. If you want friends of the same faith, you might find them at events at your church. My brother, for example, Corvette dude, who has a Corvette and a Maserati, loves to talk about cars, so he finds people that have the same interests and hobbies at car shows. So ask yourself what kind of people you want to meet in the first place, and that will lead you to your answer. But before we continue, I have a question for you. What do you think about online dating? Do people really get to know each other on social media? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. The next question is, what do I do when I'm bored? I actually find this one kind of funny now because it reminds me of when I initially quit and how I thought the world had just ended because I didn't know what I was going to do with myself now. This one comes down to one thing: habits. Your use of social media is a habit, and when you quit cold turkey, your brain is stressed out because now this ritual, this habit that you once did is now gone, and there's a void that it has to fill. And a lot of times, this is the reason that people cave in and they go back to the habit they tried to kick in the first place. So you attack this the same way that you would any other habit, and there's lots of things that you can do to adopt positive habits and to remove negative habits. So I'm just gonna share 3 quick tips with you. Tip number 1, make it pleasurable. Quitting social media can initially leave you with withdrawal symptoms. So make yourself happy that it's gone by rewarding yourself or distracting yourself with happy things. Maybe go back to that hobby that you once had. Take a walk in nature, exercise, take this time for self-care or to spend more time with friends and family. Take this extra time to invest in yourself so that you can become a better version of yourself. Instead of reading about other people's lives or posting all about your life, make your life better. Tip number 2, make it difficult. Make it harder to go back by deleting the apps and getting rid of the accounts. And cut out the triggers that normally make you go there in the first place. For example, if you normally scroll through social media when you go to bed, then maybe consider placing your phone across the room or perhaps even better in another room, or turning your phone off before you go to bed. If your trigger is normally to pull your phone out and scroll through social media anytime you have downtime, such as, for example, waiting at a doctor's office, consider turning your phone off and taking a book with you instead. And tip number 3, make yourself accountable. Consider letting the friends know that will actually support you in this, and maybe challenging someone to do it along with you. Or maybe even make it a little bit better by making there a negative consequence if you do go back. For example, when I quit sodas several years ago, I made a bet with my sister. I told her that if she saw me take even just one sip of soda in 6 months, she would get $50. This gave me an even bigger incentive to not go back to that habit. These are only a few tips, but for greater detail on developing or cutting out habits, I highly recommend the book Atomic Habits. This is actually a book that I've read a few times over the years because it's one that's easily applicable to any kind of habit. Whether you're trying to adopt new healthier habits such as exercising, reading, or eating healthier, or if you're trying to cut off negative habits that are harmful for you, this book can be a huge help. I'll leave the link in the description. And last but definitely not least, I want to address the biggest fear that you guys mentioned in the comments, and that is FOMO. I think there's a huge deal of fear of missing out on social media because it's designed to keep you addicted. There's just something about the ability to infinitely scroll and those darn little notifications that you just want to tap on because you have to see what it's all about. At least for me, I definitely experienced withdrawal within the first few weeks, but I think that it does all come down to habits. It had become a habit of mine to constantly check on the messages, check on the likes, scroll through posts. What if I was missing out on something? And once it was gone, it was like I had nothing else to think about but what I was missing. Guys, this is short term. That feeling goes away once you get used to that old habit being gone, but it's a million times easier if you shift your focus from what you're missing out on to what you're gaining. You have all this extra time now. Think about all the things that you can do to make your life better. So don't focus on what you're missing out on. Focus on adding more activities that will help you improve your life. Get back to those hobbies you love or adopt new hobbies. Love the people in your life and live fully. When you're living a life you love, you will not have time to miss those apps. This list of questions is by no means exhaustive, and I probably missed several points, so if you guys have other suggestions or ideas, please share them in the comments because there are other people asking, what do I do? That is it for today, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you won't miss out on my videos. I thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.